Okay, we'll wait for a couple of seconds for Prabhu.
Alexa, switch on passage light. Alexa, switch on dining hall light.
Okay, we'll wait for Prabhu to come back.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Yes, Prabhu is back.
Hare Krishna. Sorry, bro. Some...
No problem, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Om Namo
Prabhu.
Bhagavate Vaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Can you share the screen, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, I have shared the screen.
Yes, bro. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna,
Yes, bro. We can
Prabhuji.
say Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu.
Pranams. You show the screen, Prabhu, the prayers.
Prabhu, I'm already sharing the screen. Are you able to see that? I've shared the PPT.
Okay. Okay, I will just, no problem. I see the Jagannath.
No problem, no problem. You carry on, Prabhu. I'll just synchronize with you. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Om Agyantamara Andasya Kyananjara Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadamahyam Didati Sapadantikam Mandeyam Shri Guru Shri Padam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sakrijatam Saranam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sakana He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Navasute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Vranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpata Rupesya Kripa Sindhu Bhaye Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Priya Dvaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Hare Krishna Prabhu Matajis, welcome all of you. Thank you for keeping up the appointment, Krishna. So today we are continuing with the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and today's verse is 1.25. Bhishma Drona Pramukhatah Sarvesham cha Mahikshitam Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan Samavetan Kurun Iti. Translation is, in the presence of Bhishma, Drona and all other chieftains, of the world, the Lord just said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. So this chapter is titled Observing the Armies on the Battlefield of Kurukshetra. The first verse was spoken by Dhritarashtra. And from second, we saw Sanjaya speaking and giving the summary of stunning commentary on what is happening in the Battle of Kurukshetra to Dhritarashtra. And Arjuna started speaking from verse number 21. Right? See, now the purport, Prabhupada, it says, as a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers. But he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. So he was very anxious to see who the leading persons present on the battlefield. Although there was no question of any peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, Arjuna wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war. See, it was an open secret that Duryodhana wanted to usurp the kingdom of the Pandavas by some evil plans. And with whom? In collaboration with his father, Dhritarashtra. So therefore, all persons who had joined the side of Duryodhana, they must have been the birds of the same feather. Arjuna wanted to see them on the battlefield before the fight was begun, just to learn who they were. But he had no intention of proposing any peace negotiation with them. It was also a fact that he wanted to see them to make an estimate of the strength which he had to face. Although Arjuna was quite confident of victory. Why? Because Krishna was sitting by his side. So today we are discussing 1.25. But the verse before this, 1.24, in the purport, Prabhupada says, in this verse, Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep. And one who conquers sleep is called Gudakesha. Sleep also means ignorance. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. See, as a great devotee of Krishna, Arjuna could not forget Krishna even for a moment, because that is the nature of a devotee. Either in waking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. So thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. And this is called Krishna consciousness or Samadhi. As Rishikesha, or the director of senses and mind of every living entity, Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of the armies. So Krishna did so, and then he started speaking this verse 1.25. See, first of all, when we see a person, what do we see? We see the senses. But we cannot see the director of the senses. The director of the senses is the mind. And the director of the mind is intelligence. And the owner of intelligence is the soul. So this is understanding. Soul is there. So whose intelligence? As soon as we shall say intelligence, whose intelligence? That is the soul's intelligence. Where from the intelligence is coming? It is coming from Paramatma, Rishikesha. Therefore, this word, Rishikesha. See, the intelligence will come from Paramatma. Otherwise, we cannot act. See, just like a child has got intelligence, right? But it is guided by the parents' intelligence. My dear son, do like this. And he does it. Similarly, we have got all this mind, intelligence, everything. But that is being guided by the super intelligence, Krishna. Therefore, he is called Rishikesha. So, we have to reach that platform where we can talk with Rishikesha. That is a spiritual platform. And that is possible. The more you become purified, you can talk with Krishna, Rishikesha, who is within each one of us. He is not outside. Although Krishna is in Goloka Vrindavana, in the spiritual world, but because he is Krishna, he can remain with you also at the same time simultaneously. This is Krishna. Goloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhutaha. In Brahma Samhita 5.43. Golokanamni nijadamni talecha tasya devi mahesha haridama suteshu teshu tete prabhava nichaya vihitaschayena govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So we have to understand Krishna as Rishikesha. Krishna knows that unless, it's a very important point for us to understand, Krishna knows that unless Arjuna becomes affected by family wise, how Bhagavad Gita will be there? Therefore, although Gudakesha, Arjuna, is about darkness, still by the will of Krishna, that is Rishikesha, he played just like an ordinary man, affected with his family affection. Therefore, Krishna says in 1.25, my dear Partha, now you wanted to see with whom you have to fight. Now here is Bhishma, Drona, and many other kings, all the descendants of Kuru dynasty, all the Dhritarashtra's sons. Now you see very nicely and be prepared to fight with them. So this is the explanation of Rishikesha and Gudakesha. See, as declared in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord appears in this world, in this mortal world, to execute his much needed mission of killing the miscreants and giving protection to the suffering faithful. So in spite of that mission, Krishna tolerated the insult to Draupadi by the Kurus and the injustice which was perpetrated against the Pandavas, and also the insults to himself. He tolerated. Now the question may be raised, why did Krishna tolerate such injustices and insults in his presence? Why did he not chastise Kurus immediately? When Draupadi was insulted in the assembly by the Kurus, of course he helped her by supplying unlimited clothing, but he did not chastise the insulting party immediately. So this silence of the Lord did not mean that he excused the offenses of the Kurus. No. See, there were many other kings on the earth who had become very proud of their three kinds of possessions: wealth, education, and followers. And they are constantly agitating the earth by movements of military strength. So the Lord was just waiting to get them together on the battlefield of Kurukshetra and kill them all at one time, just to make a shortcut in his killing mission. See, godless kings, when puffed up by advancement of material wealth, education, increase of population, they always make a show of military strength and give trouble to the innocent. So when Lord Krishna was personally present, there were many such kings all over the world. And he thus arranged for the battle of Kurukshetra. In his manifestation of Vishwarupa, Lord expressed his mission of killing by saying, he said in the 11th chapter, 32nd, 32, 34 verse, I have willingly descended to the earth in my capacity of inexorable time in order to decrease the unwanted population. I shall finish all those who are assembled here except you, the Pandavas. This killing does not wait for you to take part in it. It is already arranged. All will be killed by me. And what Krishna says is, if you want to become famous as the hero of the battlefield and thus enjoy the booty of war, then, O Savyasachi, just become the immediate cause of this killing and take the credit. I have already killed all the great warriors, Bhishma, Drona, Jayadratha, Karna, and many other great generals. Do not worry. Fight the battle and be famous as a great hero. See, the Lord always wants to see his devotee as the hero of some episode, which he himself performs. He wanted to see his devotee and friend Arjuna as the hero of the battle of Kurukshetra. And thus he waited for all the miscreants of the world to assemble in Kurukshetra. Nothing else. This is explanation for his waiting. See, we see the controlled senses, no? See, uncontrolled senses leads us to destruction. The best example of uncontrolled senses is Ravana. With all the opulences he had, because he was not in control of his senses, he was unable to be peaceful and he constantly wanted more and more. When he saw Sita Mata, he decided that she must become the object of his senses and his enjoyment. And this started the beginning of the end of Ravana, because instead of taking the object of the enjoyment of senses to be offered to Krishna, he wanted to use it for himself. In that way, we are all mini Ravanas, because the moment we see something that someone has, we think in the deepest corner of our heart that this should actually be mine. It should be my object of enjoyment. All this is because there is no direction of sense at the lotus feet of Krishna. This is Ravana attitude. But what happened to Ravana in the end? Despite everything he had, because he was not master of senses, but only master of Lanka, he was forced to surrender to Lord Ram. So before Maya Devi forces us to surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna, better we just voluntarily surrender. If you do not bow before Krishna, then the age will catch you and make you so crippled that you are forced to bow even if you do not want to. See, submission of our senses in the service of the Lord makes us successful. On the other hand, we see that Jatayu submitted his senses in the service of the Lord when he saw Sita Mata being kidnapped by Ravana. Jatayu could see and he knew that Sita Mata belonged to Lord Ram. So without even consideration of his own senses, he just submitted his senses, directing them towards serving the Lord Ram by trying to save Sita Mata. He submitted his senses at the service of Lord Ram. And what was the result of his submission? The result of his submission materially was that his wings were slashed in that battle, and he eventually lost in the battle and fell to the ground. But when Lord Ram came to Jatayu, he said, looking at the dying Jatayu, today is my saddest day, not because I have lost Sita, but because today is the day I am losing a great devotee like Jatayu. Today I lament for you more than I lament for the loss of my wife. So Lord Ram promised to Jatayu that he will personally perform the last rites. That is why Jatayu lost materially, but he was a victor in the realm of spirit. Ravana won the battle with Jatayu materially, but ultimately, spiritually, he became bankrupt. One party, Jatayu, accepted Lord Ram as Rishikesha, and the other party, Ravana, accepted Lord Ram as enemy, and he refused to submit his senses, and he lost everything in the end. So we should submit our senses to Rishikesha. He is the control of the senses, and by submitting and surrendering to him, we will be successful, as we see in the exposure of Duryodhana and Arjuna, right? Duryodhana did not submit; they were completely vanished. And you can see in the case of Lord Ravana also, and what happened to Jatayu when he submitted senses. So I stop here. Bhagavad Gita ki Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Vanchakal Putrubhya Kripa Sindhu Devacha Patidanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnava. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Dandavat
Thank you.
pranams.
Hare Krishna.